Um, Welcome to talkSPORT, the one, the only, game bread. Jorge Masvidal. This man is ready to take somebody's head, I can tell already. Well, he was ready to take a head last time I saw him about a month ago. Date's been pushed back a couple of times, but we're ready to rock and roll. July 6th, you versus Nate Diaz in the world of boxing, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before I get stuck into the fight and all that, talk to me about Vegas and how it compares to Miami. Obviously, you've up sticks, gone to Vegas, dedicated yourself in this camp, my friend, taking yourself away from the distractions of Miami. How are you finding it?
More so than the distractions of Miami, taking myself away from my kids. That's been like the weirdest thing. I've had camps where I was fighting in altitude or Asian. I left for like 6 weeks to like a month. But this has been something else. I've been here since January now. Come July, it's gonna be close to 6 months, and it's been tough, man. My kids have been visiting me. They're actually here with me now for the summer break, but that's been the toughest part about it, because I had a little schedule with them, and me, though I got a busy lifestyle and stuff. I'm still very much involved in what they do and what they don't do, taking them to school, picking them up, going to activities with them, hanging out. So that being said, I've replaced all that time that I don't spend with them, just like rehabbing, recovering, and then get back to the gym. And I have noticed a difference, man. That I'm recovering way faster. I haven't gotten injured as much. Also, I'm not doing MMA, so the injuries are different, in boxing. Not that they don't exist, but just MMA is a complete different animal on your body, the wear and tear of the day to day. But right now, like physically, how it feels is very good. And feeling is one thing, but also I've been performing the miles when I run them, the time that I get in them now, the amount of rounds that I'm able to do, everything is has been great. And like I said, I've been here since January, just training on one thing. Ninja originally we were gonna fight April, then I got moved
Mm.
to June, now finally July. So this whole time I just been stepping on the gas pedal, just trying to get in the best shape possible. Also learn as much as I can about the craft. So I truly feel that my boxing has gotten better this time here, and it's something that's going to stick with me that I'm going to be able to bring to MMA as well. I've learned a lot of little techniques that work for me very well, that I've been working very well in my sparring and boxing that I'll be able to use again when I come back to MMA. But talking about July 6th, I'm gonna kill this dude, bro. I'm just gonna go in there and Darren Till leave the crowd without to say, leave that whole crowd speechless, because I know we're in California, that might be people might come out there, and I can't wait to take the breath out the room.
Why did you choose Jorge Capetillo to train with? Because I know that you flirted a little bit with Freddie Roach, you had a little bit of a
Yeah,
go with Roy Jones.
yeah.
Why did you settle here?
Well, for starters, Roy Jones was like, wow. I'm a Florida boy. I watched Roy Jones good part of his career, since I came to know about Roy, and it was like just being around the dude, I was like, fucking this is Roy Jones, man. He's watching me hit the bag. He's watching me spar. This is crazy, man. And he actually showed me some great moves, little techniques, showed me that a lot of people think it's just pure athleticism, but he showed me actually how he generates the power, how he shifts his weight, the things that he does, little setups. So it was a great 10 days that I got to spend with Roy. Then I went with Freddie Roach, one of the greatest boxing masterminds of our century. I mean, he's had so many world champions and then been able to polish so many world champions also. That's another skill that he has, that he could take your best tool and amplify it. And I had a great experience with Freddie Roach. It was a great time. His team took such good care of me, was very freaking open arms and just fucking worked with me. But me and Capatillo had something special, man. I worked out with him the first day, and it was just like I fucking knew this dude. And then as we kept working out, shortly after, he kind of like showed me like, look, man, this is my plan. If you would come here, this is what I would do with you. This is how I did it. And he comes from a long line of trainers.
Mm.
He might not be as famous as Freddie and Roy, obviously, but he comes from a line of trainers, and there's fighters in his family that have done very well in boxing as well. And his uncle's he's in the boxing Hall of Fame actually for training. He's the one that schooled Capatillo and everything. And everything that he wrote out for me and told me, like, look, by week number 5, we're gonna be doing this, and this is how much you're gonna be running. By week number 8, you're gonna be doing this, and this is how much you're gonna be running. And it's all perfectly just fell into place, like one after another after another. So I have the utter most complete trust in this dude, and he's a hard worker, man. There's not a day that we don't get after. Every day is a consistent good amount of work. And at first, the load was different. It was a lot, and it was taking a lot out of my body, but slowly but surely, since I've been here so long, then I could take it, man. I'm ready to work every day like a fucking dog, you know.
Mate, he's old school. He's got you going full Balboa, man. Chopping down trees, running
Chopping
mountains, high
every
altitude, old school.
Monday Monday through Saturday we run, which is something and when I was at 155, I used to have to run a lot for the weight, you
Yeah.
know. So that was like 8, 9 weeks of my camp was spent like running, whether it was every day or every other day on 155. But when I moved it to 170, I didn't have to run that much. I was doing more wind sprints to get my gas up there. But here it's like we run every day, you know, and it's just different. So I've learned now to like run every day. I'm not a great runner, but I could say I've become like a decent runner. And there's just things you do different in boxing than in MMA, how you generate your strength, your force, your power, how you stand, everything, you know. And there's a lot of tool sharpening in boxing. It's a lot of tedious stuff like, okay, they're gonna put a rope across the ring and you're gonna go under this rope for 6 rounds. You know, you're just gonna do that back and forth. And then when you're done with that, you're gonna put a little stick on the back like this, and then you're gonna just work on all your little movements. You're gonna do that for like 4 or 5 rounds. Then you're gonna shadow box. Then you're gonna fucking do this. Then we're gonna do pads. Then you're gonna do the back, and we're gonna do that every day. You know, and it's like very tedious, and you gotta have the mind for it. But after 6, 7, 8 weeks, and you finally see that all these motor skills are just working and just firing, and you're in the boxing ring just doing everything that they've showed you to do. It's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing process, and this has been one of the funnest journeys of my life. You know.
How are you finding understanding boxing range? Because you're used to all round fighting.
Yeah.
So therefore the
Yeah.
range is a little bit different when it's all round fighting compared to boxing. How was that untraining your brain to then retrain your brain?
Well, to go back to the bob and weave, that's something we don't do in MMA, right? Because if I'm doing this
Hmm.
and you're kind of doing that, you're becoming susceptible to knees, kicks, shin to the face sucks. You don't get another redo. It's like you're probably done if you get a shin to the face or a knee.
Hmm.
You know, if it's not a knockout, it's a vicious cut. So that this is a range where we don't get to live in, and I had to learn that whole range from guys doing it to me, and now I can't knee you and stop you from doing it. Now I gotta box you in there, and I gotta learn how to do it. So the ranges in boxing, obviously, as you just said, are very, very different than MMA. Because MMA, if we're ready at this range, if we're not throwing elbows and knees, we're clenched up. And if not, we're like very a further range than what boxers are used to doing, you know? That's why a lot of kickboxers and boxers that are fucking phenomenal in their sport, when they come into MMA, they run into problems, you know? So I was running into a lot of those same problems with these boxers. I was using too much energy in the outside, moving a little bit too much. And then in the inside, you know, I'd throw a punch and clinch and try to wear the guys out. But he polished that up, you know, and I mean, he's brought in a fleet of guys for me to spar. You know, I didn't think he was gonna be bringing him in that type of caliber of guys, but I've worked with Cuban Olympians that are medalists,
That's
American
good
medalists.
though. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's great. Working with pros that are 15-0, 13 knockouts, and not just like one time, like day after day after day after day. And he's constantly progressed me. You know, as I started working out with amateurs that were like national champions to full blown pros that were Olympic medalists, things like that. And like I said, the progression's been amazing. And for me to see it for myself, for me to be able to go and Capetillo writes down every punch that I throw per round. You know, his uncle had a saying that like before the heart monitor, and he's like, hey, if my guy can't throw 100 punches a round for the 12 rounds it is, he's not in
Hmm.
shape, or the 10 rounds or whatever. So it's kind of like a metric system that we use. You know, they count every punch that I throw. And in the beginning, I was like, bro, there's no way I'm gonna get to 100 punches for fucking 8 rounds. This is crazy. This is not a chance, but this is great. I'm 39 years old. You're crazy, man. He's like, no, we're gonna do it. Trust me. And it took a while, and it took a while, and it fucking took a while. Slowly but surely, we got there, and we're averaging a good amount of fucking punches, and it's just a great fucking feeling to be able to do it, man. To set out a task and be like, all right, we're here, we're doing it now.
Do you wish you'd have done it earlier? Because I know you're a massive fan of boxing, like you're a huge fan of Roberto Duran, for example, and I know that you've watched a lot of the old school stuff. Do you wish that you'd have maybe had a little go earlier?
Yeah, a big part of me, yeah, but man, my first my biggest love, my first love was boxing. I discovered boxing. I couldn't understand soccer, basketball, baseball to save my life. And I didn't have the attention span. I would watch and I didn't know what was going on. So when I first saw boxing, instantly fell in love. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I understand it. Nobody needed to explain to me what was happening. I just knew. I even knew what kind of technique was, which was in my mind at the time, hit and not get hit, you know, things like that. So I understood boxing very well. But then when MMA came and I found it like a couple years later, like 3, 4 years later, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. So to me, the funniest thing I've ever done, still to this day, is MMA. You
Yeah.
know, so would I have done it different? Maybe yeah, maybe no. But at the same time, what I wouldn't want to do is disrespect either one of the crafts by trying to box while doing MMA and be a MMA guy doing boxing. I had to learn how to stand different here, and that's why the more time that I had, it was just better because the craft is different. You know, the way that we stand,
Mm.
obviously, you know, I have to block kicks, I have to stuff takedowns, I have to, you know, it's a complete different thing, and you can't just shut up because we don't have those big gloves. We have these little gloves, so a lot of it is like me staying out of these punches, not even letting them get close. As in boxing, it's a complete different distance range and their outputs are different. You know, they're how they sprint is a little different. So I'm glad that I've had this whole time just to prepare and really sharpen my tools for this craft.
So, given this being your first jaunt into professional boxing, how
Second,
second apologies. How excited are you then that it's Nate that you get to face? Because I remember speaking to you in the immediate aftermath of the MMA contest that you had for the BMF title, which you won, but there was still a little bit of disappointment. It felt like in your voice that there wasn't that conclusive ending that you're constantly thirsty for. How excited are you that you get a second go at that?
a big part of me is excited just because the more I'm getting to know Nate, the more I can't fucking stand this fucking diva, you know. And then his gimps attacking my coach, one of them being a pro fighter and another 20-something-year-old attacking a guy that's damn near 50 that's a coach as they've seen it as my coach. It doesn't rub me the right way at all. So more than anything, it's coming from a very animalistic place. I just want to drive my fist through his eye orbital and snap it. You know, I just want to hurt this dude in a fashion where not even the last time that we fought, I hurt him. I want to do something special in this fight and really beat the living crap out of him. You know, he's been a nightmare to work with, you know, because in boxing, you kind of got to work with each other. It's not the UFC just coming in and figuring out all these, you know, the infrastructure. It's like me and him got to work together, and it's a. I never want to work with this guy. He's fucking long. I don't want to see a picture of this guy the rest of my life, you know. So I just kind of want to. In the first fight, the reason why I didn't feel like, you know, because I kind of felt like, man, I've been beating the shit out of this guy. Just let me fucking knock him dead, you know. He's not gonna come back from this next one. If I just could catch him in, because I've been working the head, but I had really been working his body, and I felt like, bro, I was gonna take his ass out clean, leave him in the stretcher, you know. But they kind of saved him with that cut, and then he made that into a movie. Oh, what would have happened in the fourth and fifth round, and this and that. Well, you know, if my aunt had a dick, she wouldn't be my aunt, you know, right? So it's like, shut the minutes that you got the fight that we threw down, you got utterly mopped. And he made this whole movie story about the fourth and fifth round. Well, I guess we're gonna find out about the fourth and fifth round very shortly, you know. And then he's telling me he wants to do a rematch in MMA. Motherfucker, after July 6th, I'll be surprised if you ever come back to combat. I truly will be.
Where does this journey take you in boxing? Because a lot of people obviously mention your name every single time now. Like Chael Sonnen, for example, has been mentioning your name. There's a couple of other people mentioning your name. Where does this go?
Yeah, yeah, but Chael's a box. Chael, I just do Chael real quick just to like stay busy or something. But Chael can't box, bro. You know, this guy's a and, you know, we'll have to do like a heavyweight, and I'll have to like sign a clause that I can only do my lead hand, though he's fucking saying this and that. Like the guy's not gonna want to box me. I'm gonna break his fucking face, man. But I would like a Logan Paul. You know, he had some good moments with Mayweather. He did hurt him a couple times. Obviously, we'd break the internet, we'd sell a ton, and then that way I'd get a chance more to get my feet wet in boxing. And then for my third fight, like a Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao, is what I would like to do. You know, bite down on my mouthpiece and go in there with one of those greats and just fucking throw down. You know, but obviously, you know, hats off to Ngannou because he just stepped in and said, Tyson Fury, let's go. AJ, let's go. Me, I want to do it like I just want to learn the craft because I've been doing MMA 20 years. So I know how to fight. But boxing is a little different. You know, you stand different, the range is different. So the more time I have to process this information is better for me. So I wouldn't mind like a Logan Paul, the next one, break pay-per-view records, do all that shit, set a lot of money aside, and then fucking Mayweather or Pacquiao or something like that, bro. Something massive.
Did you see that they've announced Jake Paul and Mike Perry now?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
What'd
that.
you
I
make of
saw
it?
that. I like it a lot more than the Tyson fight, you know.
Yeah.
The Tyson fight, I wasn't probably gonna tune into that one, but this one I will be tuning into. You know, they got my money on this one. I think I could see Jake winning the first like 3 rounds, you know, just being a little bit more boxing oriented, a little bit craftier. But I think after that, and I wish the fight was a 10 round. But they know why they did an 8 round. But I think after that, it's gonna be a dogfight. You know, Mike is gonna be still in his face. Jake is gonna be looking for a way out. He's gonna start to like, man, I can't get this fucking guy out of here. And it's gonna be a fight. And Mike is real crafty in the inside, you know. He knows how to get in there and fucking deliver his shots. He's getting better at the defense too to give those shots. I think at the end of the day, he's the much bigger and badder dog. He's gonna really bite down on the mouthpiece and go through whatever he has to go through to get to Jake Paul. And the cherry on top, we get a win back for all the MMA guys now. You know what I'm saying? Not the Ben counts because he's like something else, but for like all the other MMA guys, we get a nice little win back. You know,
Will I ever see you in MMA again, or is boxing your thing now?
100%. You see me in MMA after these 3 fights. It was part of the UFC clause that I'd come back to MMA and do one fight, but I'm thinking it might be a lot more than one fight. You know, I've been feeling great. I'm gonna keep this pattern going. I'm in great shape, like I said. I'm gonna look to do 2 to 3 more boxing fights this year. If I could do 2 more, that'll be fucking amazing. But at least definitely one more we'll be doing. And then after that, I'll definitely go back to the UFC, give them their one fight, and then keep doing this boxing thing because I'm really falling in love with it. I'm feeling good, man. I'm in a good place right now. So come July 6th, you know, all that talking and stuff gets put into actual work.
Mate, and the businesses are flying. We got the mezcal flying. We've got the bare knuckle flying. We got everything's good, man. Everything's good in Gamebred's world.
We got a big show coming up this year. I gotta get a little bit more signatures here, signatures there, and we'll be announcing a massive main event with a massive co-main event. We're just hoping that everything lines up now. All the ducks were obviously focused on the boxing and stuff right now, but the bare knuckles coming back strong. We got JDS as our champion right now, so we want to keep him active. We got some big fights coming, man.
Looking forward to it. Listen, for everybody that has just been tuning into this, make sure you check out. There's a 3-part series out at the moment from Fanmio, which is Last Man Standing. This man, Nate Diaz. July 6th is when the fight goes down, but there's a lot behind the scenes. There's a lovely little build-up. Get you in the mood for a bit of a knock on July the 6th, which goes down in California. Jorge, as always, my man, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, my brother. And like I've told you, you're gonna be commentating. I'm a Gamebred, bare knuckle. I need you to commentate, brother. We're gonna make that happen. Once I get this main event signed up, you know it.
You know where I am, my man. I look forward to it. Take care, bud.
To all my British fans, I love you, motherfuckers. Thank you for always holding it down. I'm gonna put on fucking show July 6th. Don't miss out. July 4th, come celebrate the nation's birthday with me. July 6th, come to Nate Diaz's funeral, bro. Kill this dude, bro.
Always a pleasure, man.